Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranjaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Shtaprayeshu Padreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhagavate Nishtaki. Hare Krishna. Today I am going to read the book Namacharya, the life of Srila Haridasa Thakura by His Grace Rupa Vilasadasa. The Brahmana Gopala Chakravarti believed that jnana, perfect knowledge, is far superior to devotional service of the Lord. But as recorded in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Andi Leela 3.201, Balai Purohita Tare Karila Varsana Gadapadiya Mukha Tumi Bhakta Kanhajana. The priest named Balarama Acharya chastised Gopala Chakravarti. You are a foolish logician, he said. What do you know about the devotion service of the Lord? If one pretends to be a devotee of the Lord but does not understand the difference between dry speculative knowledge and knowledge of the supreme absolute truth, then such a person's devotion borders on impersonalism and is ranked with chief sentimentalism, which is totally against the spiritual teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami. Therefore, Jnana Yoga is not speculation or empirical research, nor is it is the sudden emotional outburst of upstarts pretending to be devotees. By practicing genuine Jnana Yoga, even an empirical philosopher will develop a taste for hearing purely spiritual topics from the scriptures. Eventually, he will come to understand the Supreme Lord's transcendental position and potency, and ultimately, he will relish the Lord's form, which is eternal and full of knowledge and bliss. He will perceive the Lord as the embodiment of all transcendental mellows, and if the pretentious non-devotee sentimentalists who like to imitate the empiricists practice genuine jnana yoga, then they too will gain an accurate perspective on the absolute truth. They will become firmly established in the understanding that the Supreme Lord's form is spiritual and transcendental, and then they will begin to render unflinching devotional service. RTW 3.1. Similarly, someone sent a young prostitute to disturb Haridasa Thakura, and upon hearing her appeals for intercourse, Haridasa Thakura said, Yes, your proposal is very nice. Please sit down and let me finish my chanting, and then we shall enjoy. Morning came, and the prostitute became impatient. But Haridasa Thakura replied, I am very sorry. I could not finish my chanting. Come tonight again. The prostitute came for 3 nights, and on the third night she fell down at his feet, confessed her intentions, and pleaded with him. I was induced to perform this act by a man who is your enemy. Kindly excuse me. Haridasa Thakura then replied, I know all about that, but I allowed you to come here for 3 days so that you could be converted and become a devotee. Now take these chanting beads and go on chanting. I am leaving this place. Here is another example of a Dhira who has control of his body, Deha, words, Vacha, and intelligence, Buddhi. One's body, words, and intelligence, Buddhi. One's body, words, and intelligence should be controlled by one who is Dhira and who actually knows the principles of religion. Krishna conscious, the matchless gift, MG5. Nama Vinu Kali Kale Nahi Ara Dharma Sarva Mandra Sara Saranama Shastra Marma. In this age of Kali, there is no religious principle other than the chanting of the holy name, which is the essence of all Vedic hymns. This is the purport of all scriptures. The principles of the Parampara system were strictly honored in previous ages, Satyuga, Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga. But in the present age, Kali Yuga, people neglect the importance of this system of Shrauta Parampara, or receiving knowledge by disciplinic succession. In this age, people are prepared to argue that they can understand uh, these people are prepared to argue that they can understand that which is beyond their limited knowledge and perception through so-called scientific observations and experiments. Not knowing the actual truth comes down to man from authorities. This argumentative attitude is against the Vedic principles, and it is very difficult for one who adopts it to understand that the holy name of Krishna is as good as Krishna himself. Since Krishna and his holy name are identical, the holy name is eternally pure and beyond material contamination. It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a as a trans.
Let me zoom, Mataji. Let's zoom.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhu. It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as transcendental vibration. The holy name is completely different from material sound, as confirmed by Narottamadaasa Thakura. Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. The transcendental vibration of Harinama Sankirtana is important. Is transcendental vibration is important from the spiritual world. Thus, although materialists who are addicted to experimental knowledge and the so called scientific method cannot place their faith in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is a fact that simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra offenselessly, one can be freed from all subtle and gross material conditions. The spiritual world is called Vaikunta, which means without anxiety. In the material world, everything is full of anxiety, Kunta, whereas in the spiritual world, Vaikunta, everything is free from anxiety. Therefore, those who are afflicted by a combination of anxieties cannot understand the Hare Krishna mantra, which is free from all anxiety. In the present age, the vibration of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the holy process that is in a transcendental position beyond material contamination. Since the holy name can deliver a conditioned soul, it is explained here to be Sarva Mantra Sara, the essence of all Vedic hymns. A name that represents an object of this material world may be subjected to arguments and experimental knowledge, but in the absolute world, a name and its owner, the fame and the famous are identical, and similarly, the qualities, pastimes, and everything else pertaining to the absolute are also absolute. Although Mayavadis prefer professionalism, they differentiate between the holy name of the Supreme Lord and the Lord Himself. For this offense of Nama Aparada, they gradually glide down from their exalted position of Brahmajnana as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32. Aruhya Richrena Param Padam Tadaha Padandi Adho Natra Yusmad Angrayaha. Although by severe austerities they rise to the exalted position of Brahmajnana, they nevertheless fall down due to imperfect knowledge of the absolute truth. Although they profess to understand the Vedic mantra Sarvam Kalaivedam Brahma, Chandogya Upanishad 3.14.1, which means everything is Brahman. They are unable to understand the holy name is also Brahman. If they regularly chant the Mahamantra, however, they can be relieved from this misconception. Unless one properly takes shelter of the holy name, he cannot be relieved from the offensive stage in chanting the holy name. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.74 and purport. Lord Chaitanya to Prakashananda Saraswati. The summary of this reading is by practicing Jnana Yoga, we will gradually develop a taste for hearing the spiritual topics. Ultimately, that person will understand the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord stands in every position and potency. It talks about the story of the prostitute and Haridasa Thakur, how determined Srila Haridasa Thakur is in chanting the holy name of the Lord. The prostitute tried her best, but finally she converted herself to be a devotee. The reading emphasized on the importance of disciplining succession. The real knowledge comes from parampara, not from scientific research or observations. The holy name is pure and without any contamination. The holy name of Krishna and Krishna are identical. By chanting the Mahamantra offenselessly, one can be free from all the contaminations like Cheto Darpana Marjanam, cleansing the mirror which is covered with dust. This is a summary of this reading. Hare Krishna.